I know I have mad ADD and it gets worse as I get tired, so... Hey guys! Did you see what I did there? Woo! This first poem was inspired by a conversation I had with my dad in March. And it was his birthday yesterday, so I'm dedicating this poem to my dad. He's 57, that's old as fuck. No, for real. I'm just getting euthanized. It's my dad, I can say whatever I want now. Actually, I think my dad's bionic. Could happen, okay. So this poem is called... I don't actually have a real title for it, it's just for my dad. The river has run red, my father says. For too long, it has run red. He fought a war all his life, from gray city streets where he left half of himself, to the desert, to the rocks, to the mountains, where his brothers fell. Where the water was once blue, it grew red, red, red. And wars, those wars that shaped him, killed the innocence that had made him weak and unfit, things I never needed to be rid of to survive. Sometimes you see red when you look at the sky. And those thoughts plague him and dig at his soul, those memories he bears as he tries to crawl out from that time where he could not control the pain, the hate, the pride. They play a game, he told me, and their hate will always win. A man with a gun is not a man, but a god, a god, a god to them, all things to them. And as he looks to his reflection, he sees not a man, but a god instead. But all he is to me is a murderer, plagued with mortality, just like the rest of the flawed souls who share this air, share this earth. A gun in the hand is not power, it is just death. Blood spilt upon sand. A gun does not make a man. And to war is not to play, for hate is the essence of it, and ignorance to blame. And all I can ever pray is for your sons never to be soldiers, to never see the river run red, and for your daughters to lay stones in their gardens, not on graves instead, for your children to see a day when all this hate and pain dies away with those who fight blindly for a pride that is misplaced. For your children to love, love, love blindly, and truly, and all too well. To brave a revolution like a game of chess with sweet bouquets and gun barrels and soldiers in white, and lay to rest all the hate of the older generations, and with it the will to fight. And the children of today shall go into the night and sleep, 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 as children do. To the silence that was once masked with repetition of bombs and mothers weeping. Prayers for that future that kept them dreaming. No longer shall we be filled with that longing and dread of a tomorrow that is the same. Because you are the change. The river has run red, my father says. For too long, it has run red. Thank you guys. The next poem nice, I like it. For real. You can clap, it's cool. You can catcall. You can start beatboxing. I'd be like, oh my god, someone's beatboxing, just like this. Sorry, you're in the private rotation. But you're right. Sorry. The next poem I actually did last year. I was debating if I would do it again because I was kind of angry, and I was like, I actually performed in the city at 1 a.m. and a really drunk guy went after me, and he was like, no, he's not good. And I was like, I'm gonna go. So I did. Anyway, that was irrelevant. I'm so tired, sorry. Okay. I don't remember, did I have a name for this poem, Dan?
No, I don't remember.
It doesn't matter, whatever, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. Okay. Okay. I gave him his goodbye as I prepared myself for yours. And perhaps saying farewell would open up the doors and allow me to be free from this tragedy of never feeling anything, when all I want to feel is you and truth, and the reality of being, just being me, a girl with you, a guy who cannot love me, who will never love me how I want to be loved. I can never do this to myself, that I can never be pleased, so I allow myself to be taken and never ask you nicely to please bequeath to me a bit of yourself in return. I don't say a word. But now, it's perhaps your turn to hurt a little. Surrender to the pain of me not loving you a little. Perhaps a small bit of you can allow you to be hurt. To be torn and broken under the crashing downfall of my apathy, the tragic wave, this delightful insanity, this pain. Admit that everyone will hurt you in the end. But you decide that I'm perhaps worth suffering for, or worth it at all, or pretend to feel it. Whatever it may be, maybe you could just say, you want me, for now, for until you have to leave to somewhere far away and more worth it than here and better than me, and that's fine. Because I'll admit, I hardly think you're worth it sometimes. Those times and days when I miss you and all the things you said you didn't mean to, that bullshit I took as truth. You force-fed that bullshit like baby food and said, maybe I misheard, never once thinking that you misspoke. Your words hit me like acid rain and eroded my flesh so that all that was left was what you took. Nothing. Nothing I didn't give, just the pain of a hello that was always a goodbye, your hand in mine, just a phantom limb of what could have been, and I gave my farewells once you said I fell. Too hard for you. Well, au revoir, motherfucker. I never loved you. But I could have, if I had let myself. But the fear, it gripped me and held me down by the throat, and I choked back those words of love I could have spoke, and all the feelings that bubbled up inside me were just a sad memory as I said, perhaps, maybe, baby, you're always my maybe. Even the first boy who said he loved me with a fervor that hurt and eyes that lied, he said I stole his soul, but he ripped out mine and abused it. The trust I gave, the tunnels of lies I braved, to love a boy who fucked everything he could when I closed my eyes before they opened one day. Wait, darling, wait, he said, as he sailed off into a place I could not reach, refused to breach that part of him where lucidity could not lay, where he remained day by day in a drug-induced haze, and I watched as he descended into someone I did not love, who could not love, someone who was not above the fucking and the lying and those love words that were all just fallacies about the reality of our relationship had become. And so I dressed myself up so pretty, and I built myself up so strong. And that apathy ruled my heart because my soul was too far gone, sucked into someone else because he couldn't breathe by himself. And so that dark stain remains. So he stole all I had to give. And now there's nothing left. And I could have loved you. But there's no going back, and I'm sorry. So sorry. When I speak to you out of fear, never letting you know how very dear you are to me. And most days I feel I should give you that goodbye you deserve, but never took. But I'm scared of giving up on this game we played before we discovered all that there is to see and take and not say, never say, and give the truth of just being with someone you cannot be in love with. But if I could, I would love you. In cold and heat, in snow and rain, I would forget the pain of losing and let your words like bruises brand my skin, wear them as proud emblems, proof that I was human, and I would let you win this insane game we play. But still, I'd never admit I loved you. And I never tell a soul that I've lost whatever it was to you.
Oh.
I have one more poem. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
I wrote this for a friend back in high school. He was really troubled. He got into bad drug addiction. He was abused by his mom. But he turned his life around. And I wrote this poem for him because the story inspired me. And so this is for him and all the hurt he went through, and also anybody that's been abused or neglected or felt unloved. So this poem's called Jesus Boy. I used to know a boy with skin like metal armor, and a beard that denoted an age he would reach for quick, and eyes that bespoke a wisdom, a worldliness he should never have known. He sold his wares in forgotten catacombs of mega malls, herbs sealed in Ziploc and brown paper. They called him Jesus Boy, even though they didn't need saving, even though he couldn't be saved. Like an addict he prayed, with his head up, eyes lowered, lips pressed into a thin hum of all a human could ever hope to say, prayers to a God he was unsure could understand, or cared enough, or was even there. God, God, I pray, can you hear me? Like a child, he whispered, much too loud for them to ignore, pretty things like, help me, save me. Silly things like, I will be a great man one day. Stupid things like, I will be the best of men one day. I used to know a boy that railed against the injustice of those so young being forced to grow up too fast. Spoiled in the muggy climate of adulthood, spirit soured, relying on a smoke cloud to cleanse his mind, lighting up and forgetting his only psalm, trying to reach back into the pond rather than fountain of his childhood, reaching for that elixir to spill over his head and cleanse, but instead his baptism lies in the courage he drinks and the peace, the serenity he rolls and smokes. It lies in the knife through his arm from his mother's hand and the bread that spills over the wound that cannot clot. The bruises on his body tell a tale, written there by you in your blind, blind eyes. You tore into his flesh and watched your ink sink in like a horror show tattoo, so purple and black and blue, so he wouldn't forget you. So he wouldn't forget what it was like to not know a bed to sleep on, a plate to eat from, a home to go to, a person to love, to love, to love. I used to know a boy who was poisoned, an infestation of the blood, infection of the heart, poisoned by those mother's hands that broke him, those mother's hands that bit into his flesh, those mother's eyes that refused to see, to see, to see. He was just a boy, her boy, and she was killing him, and he was poisoned, and he was diseased. He tried to forget by borrowing another's flesh for a while, covering himself in their breath and sweat, and sometimes affection, burying himself in someone else's warmth, like returning to the molten clay of man, and trying to forget what it was like to not feel. For a while, just for a while, he would pretend to understand, he would pretend, and he would borrow them, these women, borrow them and burrow into their feeling. And yes, he was being used, and yes, their adoration for him was never really true, but he could use them too, and seek solace in their arms, and security in the embrace of their breath and sweat, and sometimes affection and mistake pleasure for caring, and staying through the night for commitment, and fooled himself into believing that the brush of their skin against his, their borrowed life, the smell of their hair coiled tightly in his fist through the night, was the same as fixing his broken, infected heart. He fooled himself into thinking he could ever be clean. I used to know a boy with skin like lava and a heart like sea, trying not to disintegrate at the very touch of him every time, looking for places to sink roots, make plants, grow and flower every time, not to burn every time. I used to love a boy. I used to love a boy. And I took that boy and I held his heart between my palms and warmed it, and made quick sutures for the tears so they would heal and mend. I polished his heart all beautiful and clean and almost brand new before the scars. And I put it back into his chest. And I hoped and I prayed with my head up, my eyes lowered, my lips pressed into a thin line of all a human could ever hope to say, of all you could ever hope to say, all anyone could ever hope to say. Hoped and prayed for all the blood to come through clean. I took his hand and I told him, you will be a great man one day. You will be the best of men one day. But today, you are just a little boy, once broken, once lost, but now loved and free. And I have seen you, I have known you, and I have loved you completely. Thank you.